You're highly welcome, my dear brothers and sisters out there. I'm glad that you just clicked to watch this message. Someone asked a question about the Igbos and the role which the British people, played against the Igbos and stuff like that. If I can be able to explain or elaborate on it. This is something that is very, very important that we need to be able to really understand. Because if you watch, there is a message which I made in regards to God. And it is very, very important that you pay attention in what is already contained in the scripture. And when you read it, to be able to really understand it. Now, the Igbos are a people who a mantle, an oracle. What I mean by an oracle is that something precious has been committed in their hand. To take care of something, to take care of a certain dimension, like I said. But there is something that happened. And what is it that happened? They misused that force which was being given in their hand, that oracle which was being handed over in their hand. And because of their misuse, these things are things which has already been recorded. When you hear about the Bible talked about the children of Jacob going into the land of Canaan. And when they get into the land of Canaan, they were being told not to mingle themselves with the people who were there. All these things are already things which has already happened. So now what happened is that these people, when they went into the continent of Africa, they went there on an assignment. But then, as they entered in there, they started doing things which are not right. When you left the mission which was being given to you to go and you are doing something different, the one that sent you the message have another plan on your head. If you try to, just do things on your own way, what happened? The next plan will be imputed upon your head because you have now disobeyed, or literally you've now left what you're supposed to be doing and you are doing something different. And this is the case of what happened to the Igbo people in Arochukwu. Now, in Arochukwu is a place where it is the hub. I want to make it clear to my brothers and sisters for them to understand, even the Igbos themselves. In Arochukwu is the hub of the Igbo. When you talk about the heart of God, when you talk about Aguleri, when you talk about Umleri, when you talk about Arochukwu, when you talk about Arondizogu, when you talk about all these places, these are the hearts of the children of God, and these people are playing a spiritual role. But like I said, something happened along the way. And what is it? These people, things which were being committed in their hearts, in their hand, they misused it. They started performing, they started using it for evil purposes. These people started becoming so pompous, so heartless, so wicked in their actions. In their activities, in the way of their dealing things. You are somebody who was being handed over an oracle to be able to do something with justice, to do something with equality, to do something with discipline, to do something with honesty, to do something the way that it is, you are not going to be biased. But what happened? At a time, the oracle which was being handed over to you, you started misusing that particular thing which was being given to you. Now, because you've done that, you were somebody who was powerful. There's no doubt about it. But at a time, because you have disobeyed because you have disobeyed on the action or on the things which were being given to you, now there are people who are already being arranged, raised, nurtured on your behalf, should in case you go astray on the things which has already been laid down for you. And those ones are now going to be used as a whip, as a cane, to be able to teach you a lesson. And so this is what happened to the Aros, to the Arochukwu. When they went to Arochukwu shrine, they went, when you talk about now the people who were being used as an instrument in order to chastise the Igbos. When they went to Arochukwu, these people before the coming of them in the west coast of Africa, there was not mere were the Igbos, were the Igbo people. because they see the Igbos to be like, you know, like these untouchable beings. So, but somebody already exposed something to these people that gave them an eye-opening stuff to be able to know some things, how they can be able to counter these people. Why? Because these people already, some of them, on the things which was being committed to them, they have already started deviating on it. So this gives other parties an upper hand to be able to come after these people. And they knew that they are going to do what? Penetrate them. And so what happened is that when these people, which I'm talking about these people now, I'm talking about the British invaders now, who came later on. Their first target was to be able to go after the things which the people of Arochukwu, for example, were using in order to do their consultations. Because if they can be able to, first of all, hold those things, then that means those powers which these people were operating on, they have already tamed it. And so they tend to be able to really take that tactics. And what happened? They entered the same British people who were not able to penetrate in the west coast of Africa, who cannot even kill a rat, who cannot kill a dove, who cannot kill not even an ant in that area of West Africa. One of a sudden now became a people who are now chasing, or who are now taking the gas of the arrows, the gas of the Arochukwus. Why do you really think that that happened? It is because, it is nothing more but because the people who were, the thing which was being handed over to the Arochukwus, to, you know, the things which were being handed over to them, they have already started using it for evil. They have already started using it for wickedness. They have already started. So now, we're talking about misuse of power. So since they have misused the power, what happened is that somebody was sent, which are coming in the disguise of the British people, to now teach them a lesson. And in order to teach them this lesson, they have to be able to, first of all, take all those things which they have been seeing as their powers and everything. And so what happened? They now took it and they went to their places. Now they went to the British people now and they encaged it. They put it in a cage, telling them that they have encaged their gods, what they are following. They have encaged them. They locked them and they put them in what? In chain. Look at these people coming over here. But the question is, how were the British people able to even do this? That is to let you know that somebody had revealed to these people the secret on how to tame these people. And why is it that that secret was being revealed to the British people in order to tame these people? Is because these people went astray. That is the reason why the secret of Arochukwu was being revealed to a certain people, in order for them to be able to come and desolate Arochukwu. So Arochukwu is like the home, you know, the place of where they commit all their atrocities. Now, the atrocities which I'm talking about originally was not an atrocity in the sense that they were doing things in order to help themselves, you know, to be just on the things, which was why things were being committed in their hand. But in the later time, as time goes on, they started misusing every power that was being given unto them. So like I said, this was the reason why now other people has to be sent in order to come and teach these people a lesson. So, and this teaching them a lesson means taking them captives, taking the things, the gods which they are worshipping, which are a lot of things which they are worshipping, which they are doing in that Arochukwu places now. They are now taking it in what? In captive. By so doing, now enslaving the whole people who are tied to that particular gods which these people have been using. So what happened is that with time, the people who were not able to really understand the power or the magnitude of what was going on, because you need to be able to understand that there is a time that wickedness skyrocketed in that particular place, which is called Arochukwu. And in what form? People were now doing, people were literally, you know, killing themselves, buying, you know, thinking to buy powers. You know, when you talk about buying chieftain, which is already something that is already very paramount in these days now, you know, people, you see people use money to be able to buy chiefs, or they be able to buy when you talk about different positions, you know, different things in the traditional way, which is a taboo actually. And when they see judgment which they are supposed to proclaim or something like that, they bribe the priest, the high priest and everything. People bribe the high priest in order to do something different from what originally they were supposed to do. And as a result, the land itself was not even happy with those particular people. So those people needed to be purged. Those people needed to be purged. So in order for those people to be purged, some people were being sent as a cane, as a whip from a higher force in order to teach these people a lesson. You see? And so this is the reason why when they are being taught the lesson now. And now, when they were being taught the lesson, now it is now time. Because the Bible said that when you come back to your senses, when you come back and now you repent of what the things which you have been doing, what is going to happen is that I'm going to do what? I'm going to heal your land. I'm going to pardon you. I'm going to take you. I'm going to heal you. I'm going to make you as white as snow. I'm going to bring you back to your senses. I'm going to really wash you. You're going to be as white as snow. Why? Because, why is he going to wash? Because you've been dirty. You've been, you've been so evil-hearted by the actions of what you were doing, left what you were doing, went into the land of Canaan and was behaving like the Canaanite. But now, since you have made a remorse and now you want to make a change, what is happening is that now the power that you had before the British people invaded is going to come back to you. And now when you have, because during that power that you have before the British people can't come close to you. That is a fact, But like I said, that power which helped to tame the people of Arochukwu, because it's a higher power that tamed their power in order to allow the British people to come over. Because without that higher power taming them, the British people wouldn't have been able to invade them. So the British people are an instrument of a higher power which was being used in order to, to teach these people a lesson. But before these people were being taught a lesson, that higher power has been able to do what? To tame the power of these people in Arochukwu, which was the reason why when the British people now entered, it was more easier for the British people to be able to do what? To take hold on them and took their gods. And when they took their gods, now they chained them. You see, they chained them. But now the Bible talked about the people who are going to come back and repent from their evil ways. That is the reason why you see all this swearing in, going back to Arochukwu and everything, bringing back the people who is going, who needed to be able to resurrect themselves in a way that they want to know what they are. The people who are taking responsibility to go and swear with something, they are now paying allegiance to that ancient shrine, talking that they are not going to repeat the same thing which they did, which some of these beings that you are seeing are actually spirit of the ancestors, are residing on top of these particular people. So they are now swearing, going back to Arochukwu now, swearing that they are not going to repeat the same thing which they did. Those ones who now, tie themselves now, going back to bringing themselves into that particular thing. And so, but there are also those who have already made up their mind to be able to do what? To have their own change. To not go back to the things which their ancestors were doing, or not behave the way that their ancestors were behaving. And as a result, now what is going to happen is that the spiritual powers which they had, which was being tamed, is now going to be released to them. And like I said, when that spiritual power is being released to them, then British people cannot come close to them. Like I said, the British people were only able to penetrate these people because they fell at the initial time. They had something which they did. But like you see, the falling of one is not the end of him. One still have an opportunity to be able to rise, as long as you are not, you don't feel comfortable falling. You see, and this is why you see this already contained in the scripture when the Bible talked about God. Because the people I'm telling you about, when you talk about the arrows, they are all the children of God. And the Bible is saying that what? That a truth shall overcome thee, and thou shalt overcome at last. And so before God will be able to overcome at last, God has to be able to come back to his senses. God has to be able to really repent from what he has been, not just God, but the people, the children have to be able to come back in the real knowledge, in the real sense of what is going on. So you see the sanitization that is going now. It's all about elevating those sons, elevating those children, elevating those star seed, in order to open up their eyes, to show them that there is something which you people did in order to warrant these particular people to even lay hand on you. And in order for you to know that there is a power that overrides power, these people, you know them, that these people ain't got no power to lay hand on you. But how were they able to penetrate you to the extent that they were even able to take a lot of your God, you know, a lot of your tiny gods that which you are following, and they put them in cage? And when they cage them, literally what they are doing is that they are tying you people's spirit, as many as are connected with that, you know, to that gods which they have taken. You see, so the main thing is that if you don't know the Elohim which you are following, you don't know the job, you don't know the role which you are to play in a place where you were being sent to. What happened? This is just what happened to these people. Where they went to in order to go there, what happened? They were influenced by the Canaanites who were in that land. And they did not know that those influence which the Canaanites had on them was actually something which has opened a doorway for another people to have access to their power. You remember what happened to Samson? What happened? The moment that Delilah came into the life of Samson, what happened? Samson revealed the secret of his power to Delilah. So what happened? He was being, you know, through this particular process now, Samson was being dealt with. Why? Because the revelation of his power, the secret of his power was being revealed, you know, through Delilah to his enemy. And so what happened? Through that now, Samson was being dealt with. And this is what you're seeing. Because this is already something which is happening in this particular world. That there are people who were called the guardians of the galaxy. But these people left what they were supposed to be doing, and they were using the power which they had for other purposes. And so since they were using it for other purposes, some people were, that is the reason why the Bible talked about in the book of Deuteronomy, that a nation which thou knowest not is going to come from afar off. And that nation is an ancient nation, is a nation which is going to not have a pity for a male whose language thou shalt not know. I'm going to be the one to send those nations. I am going to be the one to send them. Why? Because of what he did. Because I want to teach you people lesson. Because I want to flog you people. I want to cane you people very much, so that you would in that state now where you are at, you would know something. You would know that what you've been doing is something that is going against my will. And so when you come back to your senses now, what is going to happen? You are now going to do what? You are now going to go after the things which I want, and not the things that you want. You see, so the lesson is already being laid down, and the people who are an instrument which is being used to teach the people which are in the west coast of Africa, a Koboko, you were being sent to teach somebody a lesson. The Igbos were being sent in West Africa to teach the people who were in the west coast of Africa, which are the Canaanites, a lesson. But they went there and they assimilated themselves. And so, since they did not accomplish that mission, what is happening? Somebody else was being sent to teach them, who were the people who were sent to teach other people a lesson. So somebody else was being sent to teach them a lesson. And so that in that midst of that lesson, they themselves now is going to wake up to their own mission, which they were being sent to finish in the land of Canaan. And then in return, they are now going to take control of everything, even including that particular nation which is trying to teach them a lesson. So the nations which they are, which the Most High is using, is nothing like, when you see a father trying to cane his daughter or his son, the cane that you have, the cane that is being used to chastise, is like these nations. When you talk about, people talk about the British people now, or you talk about the Romans now. It's like a cane, a whip, to teach other mighty spirit beings a lesson, for them to wake up from their slumber and sleep and their heartless wickedness, so many which they have been perpetuating before a certain time. And as a result, the people who have eyes will see, the people who have ears will hear. And so the mission of the Igbos is still the mission of this. When I talk about the Igbos, I'm talking about the Igbos means the ancient ones on planet Earth. So while you are here, you have to be very agile in order to, you descended, there's no doubt about it, to come here to accomplish a very, spiritual mission which your ancestors sent you here in order to do. You don't come here and you assimilate yourself and try to make and think that you belong here. You are a stranger here. And so this is why you have to be in that, you have to be taught a lesson in the midst so that you won't feel comfortable where you are at. To know the mission that you came here in order to execute or perform. A lot of people don't understand what is going on. And so this is the reason why when people hear about Biafra, they won't understand these things. They will not understand that we are talking about there's something that has to do with the spiritual power which needed to be manifested. A lot of people are being sent to Arochukwu. It's not for nothing. These people ain't no fools. They know why they are sending people over there. We're talking about resurrecting something which is ancient there. Which is ancient. And before those things is to be resurrected, you have to be able to do what? To swear an oath. You have to swear an oath that you are not going to redo the same thing which you people did before. So those people are people who decided to go on that direction. So that place is a home, is a power hub. Who controls Arochukwu controls the entire continent. Arochukwu is very strategic. Ile-Ife is nothing to compare to what Arochukwu is to bring on. I tell you reality. Go and ask the people who know about what I'm talking about. Ile-Ife is nothing to compare to what Ile-Ife is a baby to compare to what Arochukwu is to offer. And so whoever controls Arochukwu controls the entire continent now. No, when you talk about the entire West Africa now, let me use that term now. And whoever controls West Africa has his own role that is playing in the whole of the continent. You need to be able to understand what is really going on. And so this is the reason why the brothers and brothers, sisters, those people who want to know the magnitude of what is already taking place about the Igbos in the struggle, people are going to Arochukwu to swear their own oath for what they want to be able to pay allegiance to what they believe and what they have faith on. That is to say, what they already within their heart have already been convinced that they are not going to repeat the same mistake which they used to do, which their spirits used to do. Because this war is a spiritual war. It's not a physical thing. So the British people are an instrument. They are babies. I tell you, they are babies. And that is the reason why you need to be able to wake to your own work, which you have been sent here in order to execute them. Because the things of this particular dimension is being committed in the hand of a certain people, waiting for them to be able to do what? You can't be asleep while at work. It is not done. So this is why you're seeing the cry out going out. This is why you're seeing the call, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, everyone, those who are part of the people who are going to play the role in bringing back the glory of Arochukwu's. And the glory of Arochukwu is not this foolishness which they are doing in trying to be so unjust or try to do so much evil and whatsoever. No. Purification has to go on. But before then, you're going to sit back in your own position to be able to take what belongs to you. So the war which is coming, or the thing which is going to happen, Arochukwu cannot handle it. Not Arochukwu, Britain cannot handle it. So they themselves equally has to be able to allow the Aros, or not just the Aros, but the tribe of God, the children of God, to be able to take over. Because this is a mantle being handed over from one dimension to the other. If you have a spiritual eye, you would see, you would know, you would understand these things that I'm talking about. You are a stranger as an Igbo person on this particular paradigm. You don't come here and then you feel reluctant and think that this is you are a spirit, you are wind, you are air, you are the sun, you are the moon. You don't understand that. Like I say, for those people who have eyes to see and ears to hear, I'm here to be able to elevate my brothers and sisters, those who are sincere truth seekers, to be able to really see and understand the nature of what is happening. I say to you all, may you remain strong, and in the name of Yahushua, shalom, my dear brothers and sisters out there, shalom.